Hey everyone, welcome to Founders 365 with me, Steven Haggerty. Today I'm joined by the founder of Cajuu, Mr. Habil Ibrahim. How are you, Habil?
I'm good, thank you, Stephen. How you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And I think I've had a theme this month of sort of food producers, food and drink retailers. So
Mm.
I'm glad you're on the show because I know that your story and your love of it is quite embedded. Let's put it that way. So
Yeah,
without further ado, I guess if people haven't heard of Cajuu or been living under a rock, then feel free to just tell the story of what Cajuu is.
sure. Cajuu literally stands for cashew, and it's born out of a family connection of the humble nut. We source our cashews from farmers in southern Tanzania, and our family have been doing this for over 40 years. So we work in partnerships with hundreds of small scale farmers across a relatively small region called the Makonde Plateau in southern Tanzania. And we ethically source the cashews. We process them at source, at farm level, bring them to our sorting place, and then export the cashews directly to the UK and to the EU.
Love it.
Once in the UK, we produce our range of cashew-based vegan snack products. Everything's as I mentioned, vegan. We only use natural ingredients, and we really leverage the brand, the identity, the provenance in the flavors and the uniqueness of the actual product and the packaging. And if you go onto our website, you'll see the range, and there's a lot more to come.
Amazing. So what fascinates me is that obviously the family has been involved in the cashew business for 40 years, like you said, but Cajuu, as it stands today, what was formed only just a couple of years ago, if I'm correct. So for you, what was it that made you think, actually, I can turn this family business into, I guess, a more relevant brand, perhaps?
Um, I'm extremely fortunate in the fact that we already had this not only amazing connection with these farmers and their families and the community in general out there, but we also had this amazing product that was just waiting to get out into the UK marketplace. And I thought, well, it would just be rude not to. But so we started actually wholesaling the cashews. So by that I mean bringing them in large quantities and then selling them to various wholesalers. But it was a bit like selling a premium product. I don't want to use any brands in my analogy, but it was a bit like selling a premium product into uh, a wide scale
Yeah.
wholesale marketplace. It just didn't really fit because of the awesomeness of the raw
It must have
material.
been ruthless as well.
Yeah, they just the margins are not really there. But I knew that this humble nut had potential, and so I worked tirelessly for months creating the range in order to add value to it, and that culminated in the range that's on the website that we currently sell. It hasn't formed overnight. It's evolved.
Yeah.
Only the product and the flavors, but also the packaging as well.
Talk to me about that research phase for you then when you started making that decision to go, okay, let's create sort of a bespoke product out of this rather than going down the mass market. How was the research for you? in terms of knowing what's right, and then I guess that decision to think, actually, no, we've got it. Let's run with this one.
It's a very good question. I guess there's the old kind of added cliche, which says, you know, if you fail hard, but then learn from your mistakes. And I failed a lot. I'm not going to lie. I put time and energy and money into places that wasn't really going to go anywhere. But then, if you find that silver bullet, then you know it's like a good feeling, but also you know it kind of gives confidence in the project, so to speak. So whenever there was a kind of highlight or a moment where I thought this could actually work, then we just like pushed and pushed further into that idea, and then that kind of resulted in you know us being able to develop the product, and then you know the packaging and the brand and the identity and the whole kind of story and marketing behind that.
Looking back now, what is one of those products that has never seen the light of day, and you just think, what was I thinking?
So, well, it's moreover than the product. So we started the brand in a completely different name and completely different branding, and that name was Delicious. So you know, I didn't know what to call the brand. I knew that
It's tricky.
Yeah, it is. It's trickier than it appears. But so you know, I asked family, I asked friends. I put a post on Facebook, and there's loads of suggestions. But me and my naivety, I thought, actually, look, well, you've got Delicious and you've got cashews. Let's just splice them together, and we'll call it Delicious. So you know, at the time, this is an example of when you know you think that something's going to work and it really would not work. I just thought, yeah, no, this is great. So there was me kind of putting time and energy and money into designing this brand for Delicious, and then I almost had a kind of epiphany or a light bulb moment where I thought, no, this is this is really not going to work. Because you know the fundamental aspect, as you kind of mentioned, is that it's a premium brand, it's a premium proposition, and Delicious is kind of almost like cartoonish.
Yeah.
Incidentally, I still have the URL for delicious.com.uk, so if anyone wants to have it, they're welcome.
You'll have to do something with that. You'll have to like make some sort of parody now. Now it's involved in the story of it. But I mean, like you said, that's a great example of also allowing yourself to change, because I feel like a lot of people will go through when they come up with a brand name or business name that, like you said, you put some money into it, you start develop the brand design, and it's brave and takes guts for you to then go, actually no, this doesn't fit right. So when Cajuu then was born, I guess, what was the difference in that feeling of the first brand and then Cajuu when it is the brand?
The operative word is feeling there. So it's not from a sense of science or experimentation. It's a gut feel that says, okay, well, Delicious is not going to work. Cajuu, you know, is. But then the name and the branding came at the same time almost. And so that helped, because as soon as I saw Cajuu in the format that it's branded in now, I thought, no, that okay, this is This is it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then if we fast forward through the process of development and things like that, how did it feel when you walked into the stores and obviously saw it on the shelves, could pick it up, could take it to the cashier and pay for this product that, even
Yeah.
though you've been around it all your life, it
Yeah.
must be a very different feeling when it's packaged in that certain way.
There's nothing like it, Stephen. Honestly, there's nothing like seeing something that you've put your heart, energy, and soul into um, on a shop shelf. But moreover, people actually paying money to buy it and consume it, and crucially enjoy it as well.
Mm.
There's genuinely nothing like it. It's like you've provided something to a whole, like hundreds of people, and brought joy into their life. I know it sounds so cheesy and cliche,
Not at all.
but genuinely, it's a real good feeling, and it's what gets me out of bed at 4:30 in the morning every day. And it's more than the kind of financial aspect of it. It's the sort of love of producing something that people then love.
Yeah. I'm curious though, do you feel any pressure to, keep developing different ranges, and obviously you keep making more products for it, because you've got three staple core ranges at the moment, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
And for many people, that's great, and that will work fine, and that will see through sort of that age of time dilemma. But when you run a business like yours, do you have that sort of pressure, or do you just focus on the now?
so it's an interesting question, because I felt this pressure when I started, actually.
Okay.
So I thought, right, Cajuu. Well, the reason why I created Cajuu is to create a range of products relating to this cashew. So the range that you see now, as well as future ranges. Um, so believe it or not, um, when we developed the products, we started with 9 products, which is an extreme amount.
That is a heavy workload from day
It,
one.
it's a heavy workload, and it's like it's stupid as well, because
Let's be honest.
yeah, the operational complexity, the logistics, the distribution is just
The cost.
the cost. Yeah, the cost. So within like about 6 weeks, 2 months, we realized this. You can't launch with 9 SKUs of products. So we scaled it back, and now because the products are doing well, and crucially, there's variation between the different products and the different flavors. So they don't merge into one. So the salt and pepper is very different to the mango, which is very different to the vanilla
Yeah.
salt caramel. So
Very
in
distinctive.
yeah, so thank you. So in essence, we've captured the taste and flavor preferences of the majority of people, that can eat this, that can consume this product. So now that pressure's actually off.
Got you.
Conversely, and now because that pressure's off, it has actually allowed me to refocus on new ranges, in a weird kind of paradox, I suppose.
But I guess you wouldn't be where you are now with the brand and the business if you hadn't had that realization 6 weeks, 2 months in, to go, you know what, 9 ranges just isn't going to be possible. It's
Yeah,
not. I mean, I guess it's possible in a way, but it would be a completely different feel of what you're doing and how you're running the business if you carried on that way.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It would tank the business as well, because you mentioned costs there. It would just there'd be a huge tail of products that, you know, weren't
Yeah,
shifting. But then, you know, once you get the products right, that they actually work, then you know
that's the
you
sweet
kind of
spot.
know. That's it. Yeah, but that's not to say that those products that we design that we've developed and we actually got the recipe for, that they're not going to come. They're not going to
Yeah,
come. It's a bit like I suppose like Walkers having their kind of staple ranges like ready salted and salt and vinegar, but then all in one hit. You know, they develop their Christmas range and their
yeah.
Worcester sauce, and but you know they stagger it so that they can do like a whole kind of like launch campaign around
Hmm.
new flavors. So that,
And now you've also got the following. You know, you've got the brand name, you've got the presence now,
mm,
which will be so much easier for you to release new ranges than it was, you know,
yeah,
2 years ago when no one had tasted any of the ranges.
yeah,
Now people are buying into the brand, which is, you know, Walkers do so well because people like a Walker's crisp. They're going to try the new one,
yeah.
which completely makes sense. I'm curious to know because in sort of food and beverages company, there seems to be a lot of companies starting at the moment in recent years. Who who inspires you? Who makes it all worthwhile for you to, like you say, get up in the morning and carry on doing what you do and have that excitement and motivation?
Um, does it have to be a food and drinks brand? Because there are
No, no,
plenty.
it's whoever it is.
So I guess my family and specifically my son actually, who turned one about a month ago, and you know when I kind of you know look at him and play with him and you know that kind of thing, I just think that I want him to be kind of proud of what his
Yeah,
dad has achieved in a real again in a corny kind of cheesy way. I want to kind of leave a legacy that you know if that he can kind of look back and think, all right, well, yeah, my dad created this
he can
this.
walk into a shop when he's 16 with his mates and be like,
Yeah,
"My dad created that."
yeah. That would be yeah. It's just an amazing like you know feeling to be able
Mm.
to do that.
And what about on a business level? Who in the marketplace do you look up to? Because people sometimes have the same question, same answers, but I'm curious to know and where you stand on that.
There's so many. There's
Too
so many.
many.
So many brands, so many businesses who I associate with on a daily basis, and that genuinely inspire me. You know, I shouldn't. I don't want to name names because I'll miss someone out. And
Yeah,
to be
you
fair,
feel awful.
yeah. But genuinely, there's so many companies and there's so many new startups,
Yeah,
food and beverage who are working their socks off to get their product out to the masses
yeah.
and genuinely tasty, you know, amazingly branded products and
They
companies.
set the
But
bar high.
yeah. But there's a lot of organizations as well that help and you know that help startups, and you know there's all sorts of groups out there that you can call upon. And if anyone is out there and I might shoot myself in the foot here, but if anyone is out there and you know just wants some advice on starting up a food and drinks brand, you know, kind of where to go, who to contact, kind of what to do, and my sort of novice opinion on things, then feel free to contact me.
So kind, man. That's good, because I think that people who are starting in any business, one of their biggest pain points or struggles is finding those that they can ask advice from, or they can look upon, and it's not just that brand on the shelf, it humanizes it. One thing I've learned from speaking to a fair few founders of food and beverage startups now is, like you mentioned, that the work in the socks off aspect, because it just logistically, it is incredible amount of work that you guys are putting in into the business to make it have that end product on the shelf, which I think that's that part of the story is often missed, isn't it? It's often forgotten about. We talk about the exciting parts of developing the brand and getting it into stores and then buying it yourself and seeing it on the shelves. But if we talk about behind the scenes, how do you manage that? How do you, as a leader within the business, make sure that is working seamlessly for you?
Yeah, it's a bit like training for a marathon or even any kind of sporting event. People will see the glory and the glitz of the athlete or whoever it is, but they don't see the years of hard work. It's really difficult. So when I think about the business, I love getting involved in the sales and marketing. It's a real cool kind of aspect to be driving. The operations and the logistics and the distribution, not so much, because there's, as you say, there's a lot of hard work. So I won't pull the violins out too much here, but so for example, we had a container delivery from Tanzania about a month ago, 6 weeks ago. And so I get involved in the operations. I'm not above that at all. So the cashews come in boxes of 23 kilos each, and we imported about 3 or 4 tons in a container a month ago or something like that. So I usually, help out with offloading those boxes into our storage facility. It just so happened that the guy that helps me to offload the container, he had COVID. So obviously he couldn't work. He's fine now, which is good. But it meant that I offloaded around 3 or 4 tons of cashews, which is around 200 or so.
That's a lot of boxes
of 23 kilos off the container onto our stillages, which are like shelving units.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously that. I mean, I felt like Popeye after, but
yeah. But and I guess by doing that, it also makes you appreciate the work that even though you're involved in it and you see it, but doing it yourself almost takes you back to the start, right? It takes you back to the core beginnings, which is a great way. I guess my question is, like, I'm sure you can streamline that process a little bit easier to make it a little bit easier for your main guy, so that he's not looking like Popeye every time either. No pressure now.
He loves it. He can't go to the gym for COVID, so he's a lot stronger than I am. So to him, that's it's all in a day's work kind of thing.
He'd be releasing like a how to get henched secret book, and actually it's just work for you guys and lift 23 kilo boxes.
Exactly. I should just start a gym, actually.
There we go. Free labor then. In fact, they're paying you to do it. So you're onto something here. Listen, I absolutely love your story. I want to see you guys in more and more stores. One of my final questions is in terms of the retail aspect, because
Mm,
from when we spoke before, it's a conscious decision, wasn't it, to focus on sort of the more independent stores
mm,
and not get tied up, which I feel like a lot of food and beverage companies do, saying, "Look,
mm.
I want to be on in one of the big supermarkets." For you, that decision, how
Yeah.
is that? How has that come about, and how does it impact the business in a positive way?
Um, so I really admire shops and small shops, independents, and places on the high street that you see every day, because it's you could just walk past it and you don't know the work and the effort that goes behind running that shop. Um, Also, my dad used to have a small shop, and so I kind of have a feeling of what it takes to to keep it running. Um, but if a large supermarket, I don't think the products could sit on most supermarket shelves because of the price point and the margins and things like that. So I guess that excludes trying to get into
Almost makes your decision easier.
exactly. But I love the whole kind of aspect of a
Mm.
small independent health shop, cafe, deli, whatever it is, selling my products to individuals who actually want to buy them, and not just not just like someone just randomly picking it off the shelf
Yeah.
and not knowing anything about it.
It's almost like they care more, right?
Yeah, yeah,
They they take that couple more extra seconds to make that buying decision,
yeah,
which
yeah,
then has a larger impact on them because they care more about the brand and
mm,
they're going to buy into the brand more. But also for you
yeah,
guys, it must be really nice to be able to
yeah.
build that loyalty within customers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, without blowing our own trumpet, we have so many USPs. The fact that the cashews, the quality of the product, the provenance in the Tanzania element, the fact that it's ethically sourced, our carbon footprint is lower. Um, so all of these things. Now, when I talk to retailers, and I talk to hundreds of retailers actually on a weekly basis, it's far easier to speak to them and to get that story across, and for them to vocalize that story in the form of words or point of sale,
Hmm.
material, than it is potentially in a larger store.
Yeah,
Having said that, we are actually launching into Whole Foods Market next month.
very exciting.
Yeah, so this is, I mean, they're not like a huge. They're big, but they're not like the likes of the larger
Hmm.
supermarkets. But the reason why they were really interested in our range and our products is the whole kind of ethics behind it,
Yeah.
the way that we work with our farmers, and um, that aspect of the business, which is really great for someone like Whole Foods
Mm.
to be able to acknowledge that aspect of the business.
Yeah, it must make you take stock as well and think, actually, we're doing something really right for them to
Yeah,
see that.
yeah. I mean, to be honest, Stephen, there's no getting away from the fact that Cajuu is a commercial enterprise.
Yeah.
It's there to make a profit fundamentally, but we in our process of sourcing the cashews to putting them on um, the shelves in this country and in places in Europe, we help so many people. We help farmers and their families and the cashew farming community in Tanzania. We create some kind of activity in the distribution and logistics, and we create jobs in the UK. And each time our product is sold, then we pay our taxes to the government. So that there is a big giving part aspect to Cajuu as well, as there is with a lot of other businesses.
Which is why, I love that brand story. I love the family aspect of it. I love the fact of working in Tanzania. Is it Tanzania? Yeah, Tanzania.
It's not Tasmania.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Tasmania? No, Tasmania immediately makes me think of my childhood for that cartoon. I can't remember what it's called.
Yes.
But having that story means that, when you're on the shelf or when people are looking at the brand, they buy into that, right? And they love that. And I think people's buying behaviors, no matter what the product is, that has changed, especially in recent years with social media. It's just that people want to get brought into the story. They want to know the story. They want to be involved as much as humanly possible in that. And it seems like you guys are doing a fantastic job. So I guess one of my final questions is, how can people find the products? How can people purchase cashews? What's the easiest way for that?
Sure. I guess it starts with our website, so cajuu.co.uk. Where you can, purchase online, where you can purchase through the website, and you can purchase through Amazon as well. We are there, but on the website you'll see our stockists tab, and you'll see all of the stockists that we supply. It should be up to date. And hopefully there's a place near you that stocks our products.
Fantastic. Habil, thank you so much for coming on Founders 365. Thank you for sharing the journey.
Thank you.
I think it's a special one, so thank you for that. And thanks everyone else for listening and watching. This has been Founders 365.